Hello, my name is Alexander, and filming this is Marilena. This is our extra credit for our Statistics 2 course. Here, we decided to figure out if there is a difference in preference when it comes to cola. So we performed a sort of blind taste test in order to figure out which sodas PSU students here preferred more. Now, I work at Safeway, and I wanted to see if there is a difference when it comes to Coke, when it comes to Pepsi, and when it comes to the Safeway brand Refresh. So those were the three colas that we had. We filled up various cups, and in our statistics class, we handed them out to students who came up front. Now, as we were pouring them, we were not trying to hide which flavors went into which cups. If students saw us pouring the sodas in, they could. However, if students asked us which soda was in which cup, we did not tell them. So, not only in our statistics course did we have this blind taste test, but I took the sodas and the cups to my organizational behavior class afterwards, and I had a few of my fellow students participate. And then after that, Marilena and I went outside of the library and we had a few stragglers come along and perform their own taste test as well. So we had the Refresh brand, the Pepsi brand, and the Coke brand. So for our null hypothesis, we believed that there was no difference in the proportion of people that preferred any. The same amount of people would prefer Refresh, the same amount of people would prefer Pepsi, the same amount of people would prefer Coke. In our alternative hypothesis, we believed, or the claim here, rather, would be that at least one proportion would differ. So with our experiment, overall, we had 35 people who participated. And also, in order to get this data to be a little bit more fun, on the sheets of paper where the students were able to circle A, B, or C for their soda preference, we also had them select their gender, just to give a little bit of extra information into the data here. So for the Refresh brand, we observed 12 people preferred. For Pepsi, we also had 12 people preferring, and for Coke, we had 11. This greatly surprised me. I thought Pepsi and Coke were both much better in general, and I really did not expect the Refresh brand to get anywhere near that close to Pepsi or Coke. I did not expect a tie. I expected it to be somewhere around 3 or 4. Now, this might have to deal with the fact that there were a lot of people who participated in this that do not drink soda, so they might have thought that the Refresh brand would be more welcome. Here, I thought that the majority of people who would be participating would have been cola drinkers. So, with 35 people in our survey, we wanted to figure out what would be expected if we thought they would be uniform as per our null hypothesis. So it would be 11 2/3 to be expected for each group across the board. Now, if you take a look at what we observed and the expected data, you'll notice that they're not too far apart at all. In fact, the Refresh and the Pepsi for the observed are both the same. So figuring out our chi-square statistic, the observed subtract the expected squared over the observed, we had 0.00952 for both the Refresh and the Pepsi, and for the Coke, we had 0.0381. So overall, our total for our chi-square statistic would be 0.05714. So we move on over to our distribution over here, and using our inverse chi function, 0.446. Now, to get this 0.446, we had an alpha of 0.05, and the degrees of freedom that we used was 2. We had 3 different selections. 3 subtract 1 would be 2, and the threshold would be 0.446. Now, our test statistic here, 0.05714, falls well below. So based on this data, we can conclude that there is not enough evidence to support the alternative hypothesis. Therefore, we do not reject the null hypothesis, that we expected that the proportion of people that preferred Pepsi would be equal to that preferred Refresh to that which preferred Coke. And according to the data, that holds true. So suggestions that we would have in the future in case anybody would want to replicate this data, well, one thing that we did not do is we did not chill the beverages. If somebody were to have a cooler, to have these drinks on ice, to have them served a little bit more fresh, something else that I would also advise is to have this be a truly blind taste test. The people in our experiment could figure out when we were pouring which would be in which cup. However, the majority of people were not able to figure out which cola was in cup A, which cola was in cup B, and which cola was in cup C. Now for the extra data, I did mention that we broke this up into male and female here. Overall, it showed that of the 12 people that preferred Pepsi, 6 were male and 6 were female. And of the other 2 categories, that was also 7 males and 4 females. For the refresh here, it's 7 males and 5 females. Thank you very much.